anything. I was going to say sport, but really nothing gets me like that.
Yeah.
That crazy.
I tell you what, it was a performance to remember for Rob Font.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Adam right here. He says, Art looks good with a snapback. No wonder he has 7 kids. My dude, stay smashing. Thank you, Adam. I appreciate
Adam
that.
Adam from...
Yeah, Adam.
Adam, hey, man.
Also, Aaron says, are you doing the Xbox giveaway? Also, yes. That is going to be happening Wednesday. Make sure that you follow us on Twitch and at 8 p.m. Bell vs. Smith 3v3 COD tournament. But getting back to this Rob Font performance, I mean, I was so happy for
Incredible.
him. A year out, had some issues. He said that his recovery during, post-surgery for that whole year was his training. Mm-hmm. Like, when you go through that as an athlete, and especially as an MMA fighter, you need everything to work.
Yeah.
If you're a football player, you need everything to work too, but when you're a fighter, you've got 15 minutes, but that's not it. You have all the training before then. So to me, to have Rob Font come back like that and beat a decorated bantamweight, awesome performance.
Look, Marlon Moraes, ever since that Cejudo fight, I don't know, he's lost a piece of himself and I think his confidence because he's just been losing.
Yeah, and it sucks too. Hey, if you're watching this, make sure that you share it too, spread the word. But it sucks too because when you look at Marlon Moraes, where does he go from here? I mean, you had Corey Sandhagen who devastated him. Now you've got Rob Font who did it in the first round. You know, the Aljamain Sterling knockout was like his glory. It was like, man, that dude's a beast.
I think I have a solution.
Go ahead.
And they also fought last night too.
Uh-oh.
Marlon Vera fought Aldo. Marlon Vera coming off a loss, ranked number 15. Now, you already know Marlon Moraes is going to drop a few spots.
Yeah.
So that puts your boy up in a higher spot in the rankings.
Yeah.
And I think he's beatable. He can beat Marlon Moraes.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Man!
I'm a matchmaker, dude.
There's no matchmaker.
I'm fucking Sean Shelby up in this bitch.
We had some yesterday.
Sean Shelby. Mick Maynard.
Yep. And we got Dana White, Stick, running the show.
Those are the UFC matchmakers, by the way.
Yeah. So I think Font, and big shout out to New England Cartel, big shout out to Tyson Chartier, who I interviewed on this show previously. You could go and search Art of Combat Podcast and look it up. But really, to me, that just moved him up like crazy. And shout out to Tyson, too, for sharing it. And when he shared it, he said, I never look back and realize what I'm doing has such an impact. Mm-hmm. And you see a whole bunch of guys huddled around a laptop screaming at the top of their lungs. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And obviously we're going to do that again January 16th. Calvin Cater, who is from New England Cartel Gym, against Max Holloway.
Now, again, it's not that I'm not a Rob Font fan. I like Rob Font.
Yeah.
But I like Rob Font because I really like Calvin Cater.
Yeah.
And they train together.
Yeah.
So I love Calvin Cater.
It's so cliquey in MMA.
It is.
It's I know that dude trains with that dude, so I like them both.
Exactly.
It's almost and sometimes they build cards towards the gym versus gym type of thing.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I think Rob Font, he's a beast. That
he
dude.
Is. He looked good last night.
Yeah, he looked really good. And someone who didn't look so good, I'm not going to cry.
Oh, man.
I'm not going to cry.
I know where we're going here.
Chaos Williams against Pereira. That was, listen, the following information is going to be biased. It just is, man. The dude's from Detroit, 11-1 before this fight, knocked out his last 2 opponents in less than 30 seconds. We're like Detroit versus everybody going into this fight, and he underperformed, but he performed cautiously. And I'll be honest with you, Ace, and you can tell me if I'm delusional. Mm-hmm. Did he not win the first 2 rounds?
I think he did. But after watching it, I did rewatch it. And not just that, I still think it was kind of a robbery.
No!
And just listening to a bunch of other shows.
Don't do this to me! Tell me I'm not delusional.
Here's what I was going to say. They really counted those stupid takedowns highly.
They did.
Both of them.
But
especially because he was, at one point he was choking them. He was going for it. And you know what? The judges really take those takedowns. They I don't know, they score them high.
Listen, there's other people here doing a holiday party, whatever shit's going on over there.
Yeah.
I need to get this out. Takedowns don't mean shit if you don't do anything with them.
Well,
the first round.
Yeah, the first one, it didn't do much.
Yes.
But the third one, I believe, is when he had him in a chokehold, though. He was going for it.
It just makes me upset because it's that lay and pray mentality. Mm-hmm. And listen, Michelle put on a performance, did his thing.
Yeah.
Great. That's a wonderful thing. But to me, it just drives me nuts that it wasn't the fight that we were expecting.
See, that was going to be my fight of the night.
That's the reason why this card is a C, in my opinion, because it's like...
The fights really didn't deliver as you thought they would. It just based on paper when you're looking at it on
really,
paper.
You know, Aaron says he got robbed, and part of me, I do think that I'm delusional because I have so much like Detroit pride. It was where I was born, and I try and represent Detroit and Flint and Michigan as a whole as best as I can. So when I see a Michigan fighter in there, I don't care if it's Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series or a pay-per-view, I'm rooting for them. Even if they're fighting, they could be fighting my best friend, and I'm like, fuck my best friend.
So that's the biases. You know, we're unbiased, obviously. I respect anybody that gets in a damn cage.
Yeah.
So it's typically a local guy. I'm gonna be biased, and an American versus some other. I'm serious. That's what it is.
Red, white, and blue. True and true.
I mean, Woodward Sports. We're in the Motor City, USA.
Hell yeah!
I'm fucking gonna go for the American. It's just what it is.
But I mean, with that fight there, it really showed that Chaos has a lot to learn when it comes to not only.
I'm looking at their records. I mean, no shame in that. Look, he's 11-2. He's 25-11.
Yeah.
Jeez, he's got double the experience.
Yeah. To me, it was a learning lesson for Williams, and literally, Williams, come on the show for one. For two, don't ever fight a Brazilian fighter again.
Pereira's just an awkward one, though.
And he is.
He really is.
He's very unorthodox. And here's the thing. I think that with enough training, Williams can come back and dominate, a top Brazilian fighter.
Yeah.
The thing is it's cage control. It's grappling. It's takedown.
It's all that.
When you're built heavy from here up and you've got hands, it's hard to transition that into having good leg dominance in the sense that you can adjust to takedowns, work on those hooks and everything like that.
And really, the takedown defense even.
Yeah.
Clearly, he's an amazing striker, Chaos Williams.
Yeah.
I think more takedown defense training would suit him.
Why not set up Williams with Pettis?
Chaos Williams and Pettis?
Yeah, but then again, Pettis is coming off of a win. Williams is coming off of a loss, but he's 11-2.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if they set that up, but... I think Williams needs a couple more fights to get to that level of an Anthony Pettis.
A couple more unranked guys.
Yeah, so looking at that fight, I really want Williams to come back. I think he'll come back super quick, too.
I agree.
I mean, by springtime.
It's not like he took crazy damage.
No, it was a boring fucking fight,
Yeah.
and it was everything that I didn't want to happen. You look at the fights, when you look at, Izzy and Romero, and you're like, this is going to be the greatest fight ever. It's going to be huge. You look at Francis Ngannou and Derek Lewis, you're like, oh, my God. And then it happens, and you're like, well, that was disappointing.
Yeah.
It's but what can you do? It's the fight game. It changes so rapidly. My thing is it's like moving forward, set Williams up with another striker, let him throw down in the cage. To me, Williams had octagon control. He threw more significant strikes. There was, 3 takedowns in the whole fight, 2 takedowns in the whole fight? He had Michelle had a chokehold. Cool. He didn't do anything with it. It was towards the end of the fight anyway. I feel like the judging criteria, and I wrote an article at 6 o'clock this morning, and I was tired and grumpy, and I was like, fuck the judges. I was just so mad because you support where you come from, and I want to see Williams succeed.
Right. But here's the thing. Every single fight night, pay-per-view or not, we complain about judging.
Yeah.
So it's you writing that is not something that you shouldn't have done.
Yeah.
It's constant.
Yeah.
It's something judging sucks sometimes.
Right. So moving on to the co-main. This is another hard week for me. Y'all should be feeling. You give me a sympathy follow at Art of Combat Pod because I'm having 2 rough weeks in a row. First it was Tony Ferguson. Yeah. Now it's the dude that I said was going to be a bantamweight champion in 2021.
He still can be. Let's be clear about that.
You think in 2021?
Ferguson, no. But Vera,
you think Vera in 2021?
Well, not 2021, but man, he can make that run though.
So Marlon Tito Vera, Jose Aldo, Aldo starched him, man. Really, Vera.
And here's what I think.
Yeah.
And I've seen this so many times. Vera's on the come up.
Yeah.
Aldo's a fucking legend.
Yeah.
And there's something about fighting those legends where you have too much respect for them and you don't go for it. Izzy versus Silva, I feel like Izzy could have finished him if he really wanted to. I actually believe that. He just never went for it.
Yeah.
Because he's looking at his idol. He's fighting his idol.
Literally on the drive here, I prep inside of my head, and obviously when we get here, we prep.
Uriah Hall just had a fight, too, with somebody that he looks up to. Yeah. There you go.
So I literally was thinking the exact same thing. We are 2 kindred spirits, or whatever the fuck the saying is.
Kindred,
Yeah, because when you look at it, Vera.
I'm telling you, that's what it was.
Vera had. I mean, he. Everyone looks up to Jose Aldo.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, sure, what Conor did to him was disappointing. It sucked. I mean, if you're, a dedicated MMA fan, you're like, man, that was really tough to watch. It was really.
But Conor's a different animal, bro.
Yeah, and it was really a clinic what Jose Aldo did. I mean, dropping down in weight. And putting on a performance like that, the tattoo thing ended up being like a
sticker basically
thing.
But I was still surprised the commission allowed
how
that.
How the hell? I think he literally was like, "Yo, put it on me,
Put
man.
it on.
Let's just do it." And they were like, "Okay."
It
And
was
they just
shiny too, man.
But obviously with Jose Aldo, he was coming off of a 3-fight skid against Volkanovski, Peter Yan, and Marlon Moraes.
The top 3 guys in the division.
Killers.
Yeah.
So where does he go from here? I mean, when you look at that
Talking
division,
about Aldo?
yeah, where does he go? And for Chito Vera
look at the
too.
rankings.
Here's the thing: Vera sits out for a couple months, waits for Sugar Sean O'Malley.
Now check this out.
Yeah.
Aldo called out TJ Dillashaw. I like that fight.
I like that.
That's a good
fight.
welcome back fight. Mm-hmm.
It's somewhat
top 7.
Yeah, and it's someone in the top 10 at least for TJ. So he stops being a little whiny bitch saying, "I'm not gonna get the title. What's going on?" Like,
TJ's not gonna get a title shot right away.
You cheated. You were out for 2 years.
Right.
You have to work your way up. You know what? You could have had the Corey Sandhagen fight, and you probably chose not to do it because you didn't want to lose to a top contender. So now Corey Sandhagen's fighting Frankie Edgar. But listen, I think that the TJ Dillashaw Jose Aldo fight,
that's a good fight,
is huge. What do you think next for Marlon Chito Vera?
Vera?
Yeah. I mean, the guy is still a dominant performer. He's 17-6? No, 16-6, I want to say.
I mean, anything really in the top 10 for him.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, between 15 and 10.
You know what would be a banger?
Rob Font? I mean, I'm only looking at the rankings.
Yeah, I'm thinking Rob Font. I'm thinking...
How about a Sun Sal? Number 9?
Yeah.
Hasn't been active
Jimmy
at all.
Rivera?
All these are good fights.
All those are going to be strikers that are dominant strikers. Aldo is very good with clinch work, and he's also good with cage work.
Yes.
And he can just keep you there and just beat the shit out of you.
He's a veteran. He knows what he's doing.
He knows. So hopefully we'll see Marlon Chito Vera back in the cage very soon. I mean, obviously I don't want to press it too soon because, you have to get those adjustments in. And Jason Perillo, who trains Mackenzie Dern, who's also training Luke Rockhold, and is training Marlon Chito Vera, I think he'll have the recipe for what he needs to do moving forward.
We've seen how good he is. I'm telling you, it was the deer in the headlights. It was his idol and all that stuff. And that's all that happened. That's what happened.
It hurts me, man, because that would have skyrocketed Vera.
Yeah.
With Aldo, I think that doesn't really move him up that much.
It doesn't do much. He'll probably stay right where he's at.
I would too. I mean, what are you going to move him to? Maybe above Munoz?
Yeah, because Munoz hasn't been active.
Yeah. I mean, but that's another division.
That's another fight for Vera.
Yeah.
Give him Munoz.
That would be a good fight too. I don't know if he's ready for Munoz, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
Munoz is a savage.
That fight with Frankie Edgar was man, he can still hang, and he's a little bit older. So, hopefully both fighters end up finding that recipe to continue to succeed because I want them both to win. I do want to see Jose. Here's the thing. I don't think Aldo will ever get another title shot. I
doubt it.
I don't think it's going to happen.
No.
Vera, on the other hand, stack up a couple more wins, run back to the Sugar Sean O'Malley fight so these fucking casuals can stop crying about the fact that it was a leg injury when it wasn't. And even...
He did the damage to the leg.
Well, and even Sean O'Malley was like, should have kicked him in the nerve. And it's like, dude, you're still bitter about that? You're still bitter about that shit? Get the fuck over it. You got a fight in February to worry about. Spray your hair like you always do, looking like 6'9" the snitch, and get back in the octagon. Stop worrying about what Vera's doing. He beat you. Get a win before you start talking about the guy who beat you.
And I think he has a fight coming up, I believe.
February.
Yeah.
Yep, end of February.
He didn't announce who, but that's good.
I'm excited for that. And obviously the main card, it was going to be the co-main, but obviously with, I hate calling him Rat Lip. It just makes me cringe. But
Khamzat.
Chimaev. Everybody's got these weird nicknames in MMA. But with Stephen Wonderboy Thompson and Geoff, Hands of Steel, Neal, what a performance from Stephen Wonderboy Thompson.
Look, I said it before we even started the show. Wonderboy in his last 2 fights has, I think, never looked better.
Yeah.
He looked real good against...
He looked good against
We were just
he didn't
talking
look good
about him.
against Pettis.
No.
He did not look good against Pettis, but against Vicente
Luque,
yeah.
sorry.
That was a great fight.
And he looked even better against Geoff Neal.
Yeah, and I mean, mind you, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson beat the baddest motherfucker, Jorge Masvidal, too.
Last year.
So it's like, you know, he had the Darren Till loss, he had the Anthony Pettis loss, he comes back, beats Vicente Luque, and then he beats Geoff Neal in a decision while injured, too.
Yeah.
I mean, the man was injured fourth round going into the fifth with some leg injury.
It was kind of swollen.
Yeah, it looked rough.
Yeah.
Really, with Thompson, it's another one where it's